What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Enhanced. This is Abattoir, or Muksobo Meats. This is, I'd say, second hardest level in the game, but this is undeniably the most annoying because the difficult parts in this level are frustrating as hell. Like, one part in the freezer is harder than the entirety of Kalinatek, in my opinion. So first things first, you just gotta move when no one's looking at you, walk slowly on top of this tin roof, and then drop down into shadow. And we're gonna climb the wall over here by jumping onto the oil drums. And then we jump on the wall, and before you fall down, make sure you are crouched. That way you can drop softly. This next area has landmines in the ground, and you can use your thermal vision to see them. They will literally flash on the ground. But first, wait for the mercenary here to go away. So not only do we have to avoid these landmines, we have to avoid these spotlights. These spotlights, I should stress, if you don't have a patch like Enhanced Splinter Cell, for example, these spotlights are invisible by default, which is game-breaking because it can make this part, like impossibly frustrating. But anyways, let the spotlight move and then jump from crate to crate. Stay against the fence here, and then take cover behind this leaning pallet. So we're done with that spotlight. Now we need to avoid the other one over here. Let it pan away like that. Move up to the crate right here. And then let the spotlight pan away again. So we're going to jump up onto the crates and we're going to do another hop. You're not going to be able to make it to the crate itself, but thankfully there's no landmines where we landed, so it's totally fine to land right there. Now, make sure you pick up this med kit right here because we are forced into combat at the end of this level, and I'd advise having a med kit or two. There's also, more importantly, there's one part where we're just going to have to gun it and then take a few shots from a turret. That's what we really want the med kit for, is to recover from that. So here, you just got to move when the lights are off. For this first part, you can move as fast as you want because you won't make any noise on this rectangle thingy that we're walking on. Just drop right there. Here you need to be more careful. You need to move at a certain speed so that your footsteps don't make noise on the metal parts. And then you can jump up and go across. And then again, land on the rectangle thingy, the thinner one against the wall right here. And now we're going to climb the fence and complete our first objective of disabling the broadcast antenna so that the soldier executions don't go on air. So there you go, switch it off. And then let the cutscene happen. Random topic while this plays out. Imagine my confusion as a kid playing this game. I remember Philippe Mass at the Defense Ministry alongside Vyacheslav Grinko right there. Imagine my confusion of seeing him just abruptly disappear from the whole game. That's why I can't wait for the Enhanced Splinter Cell team to fully complete both Nuclear Power Plant and Severonickel so that they could potentially be reinserted into the main game, so that we can finally get the proper 12 levels that the game was supposed to have before they cut those two out. There's also Mining Town and Shipyard, but I'm not expecting those to ever be restored, because I think they were cut way earlier in development. Anyways, the very instant the cutscene ends, we need to run to the left side of that door to let that guy come out, and then hide right here so that this guy can pass us. And then this next part, this locker room part, it may look kind of daunting, but it's actually really easy. You just need to do a precise pistol gunshot distraction. So jump on the rail, make sure you're crouched, and then shoot right there. The guy standing in the way will look out of the way. We can softly drop down into the shadows and then get by as he moves away. Not difficult. So now we need to quickly gun it to the vent on the floor so that we can progress forward. And this is where things are going to start getting more dicey. The freezer isn't too bad, with the exception of one room. Most of the freezer, the soldiers aren't that difficult to sneak around. It's just the middle room where it's ridiculously hard. And like I said, it's harder than anything in Kalinatek, but I still think Kalinatek is probably the harder level because the ridiculously precise and difficult distractions and movements you have to do are spread out throughout the whole level, as opposed to here where it's I'd say two ginormous chunks. The middle of the freezer, and then the forced combat at the very, very end. So I accidentally loaded an old abattoir backup save that I had, so I had to make a new one, as you can see. You want to do a backup manual save right here, because the middle of the freezer section, if we screw this up so bad, we really should load the backup save to try to redeem ourselves. I'll try to explain it when we get to it. The first thing we need to do is carefully go over to this opening in the ceiling. We need to launch a diversion camera between these two guys and then use the gas to stun them. As I stressed in the previous level, we need to ensure that scaling gadgets on hard difficulty is off, so that the gas stuns them and doesn't knock them out. Alright, so the freezer is hard to see in due to all the fog, so it's probably good to keep your thermal vision on most of the time. This first room's actually not hard, just stay to the right. And then wait for this guy to move, right there. And then to get behind this grinder thingy, you gotta stand up and lean against the wall so that you fit in the tight space. Let that guy move back. Very carefully watch that turret. When it pans all the way to its left, to our left, I mean, then you move. This is the hard part. And I cannot stress enough, this is the hard part. So to get around this first guy, you're just going to have to stay next to him so that you can move around him quickly and carefully. And then, here we go. The idea of this is, these three guys in the room, we want to use this diversion camera noise. We specifically want to distract the guy to the far left of the room so that he walks towards the camera. The guy directly in front of us, we want him to be frozen looking away from us. And then that first guy we snuck around, same thing. We want him to freeze and look away from us. This is actually exactly what we want right here. The guy to the far left to walk towards the camera, and then the other two guys to be frozen looking away. There's a problem, though. The guy in the next room, you are exposed on this ceiling pipe, and you don't really know the positioning of the guy in the next room. The only way to really do it is to try to pull this off several times, and then try to crawl over towards the next room to see where he is. Just for funsies, I tried to do a pistol gunshot distraction to see if I could work with that. Maybe if I gave it more practice, I could have, but the diversion camera noise is what works more consistently. I can definitely say that with utmost confidence. So, this is why you wanted to do the backup save, because sometimes the guard movement timing is just so bad that you need to try to load your backup saved, and hope in vain that it resets them in a more advantageous position. So I will get this eventually. If I remember correctly, in this completed recording, I think I had to load the backup save. I think. If I remember correctly.
It doesn't make sense.
And then as far as you've probably been hearing, you don't want to do the noise distraction just once. You want to do it like 4 or 5 times just to ensure that it works, that it actually gets their attention the proper way. Okay, I don't think I actually did the backup save. I think I waited this time because sometimes I was trying to go at the first possible opportunity, but sometimes waiting for like the second or third possible opportunity usually tends to work, because then the guy in the next room is in a more advantageous position. So do this diversion camera, do the noise like 4 or 5 times. This is correct. The guy to the far end of the room is going to investigate while the other two are frozen, just long enough for us to cross the room with the pipe. And then what's been happening to me lately is that the guy in the next room has been freezing also. You just gotta hope and literally pray to God that this guy is in a position where his patrol route lets him walk away from the opening from the previous room instead of walking towards it. Because if he's walking towards the open door from the previous room like he is right now, you're going to get caught. So drop softly. Please, God, drop softly so that he doesn't hear you. And the reason we had to enter the room from the ceiling is because of the turret. Go ahead and deactivate the turret and then pick up the bottle right here. We're going to need the bottle to distract the guy that's standing in this room. As soon as you can finally get into the damn room, this one's pretty easy. You just have to deactivate the turret and throw the bottle to distract the guy that's in here, so that he goes in there and you can easily slip by. And thankfully the last room's not too difficult. The hardest part is that one guy is standing right in the doorway. If you move too fast or you get too close to him, then you'll nudge him and he'll notice you. And you also need to try to get over to the other side of the room as quickly as you can so that he doesn't see you, because he has a tendency to head turn, as you just saw. But you also got to watch out for the guy that's walking around. Just make sure he's not looking. This part is really not as hard as I made it out to be. I guess I was just so elated that I got through the hard part that I was just losing my focus and screwing it up over and over again. A good trick is to stay against the wall, which would be to your right. So yeah, I think I nudged him again here, yeah. One thing you can do to be safe is to just let him head turn to his right, just to make sure that the risk of him doing that head turn and screwing you over is minimal. So, yeah, it's I guess this feels more like a stream because I keep my failures in, but sometimes I think it's a good way to show what not to do. Let him turn around. Or actually, no, I was wrong. He doesn't turn around. Stay against the wall so that he doesn't see you. And then you're going to have to climb up this thing. I forgot that you can't squeeze between it like that. You need to be further over to the left of it so that you can actually climb up. But be careful climbing up, because you don't want the guy walking back and forth to see you, but thankfully he didn't. Once you're on the other side, there's a vent in the floor, and this will finally get you out of the freezer so that we can head towards the stables where they keep the cows. But first, a med kit. That way we've got 2 of them. We need 1 to patch us up because, like I said, we're going to be gunning it and taking some shots from a turret, which is probably not the... is definitely not the best way you can do that part. More on it when I get to it. But it is honestly the easiest way as long as you don't die. So let the soldier go away, switch this little door open, and then let's charge into the next area. Immediately sneak run and get into the stable, but in the corner right here. That way we're hidden from this patrolling soldier once he comes in. So just let him come in. Don't exit this area yet. Let him turn around and walk away so that he doesn't see you. And here's what you want to do. You need to shoot a light on the ceiling to cause the turret to go off. And then enter the stable from the left side, and then quickly shoot that lantern out and deactivate the turret. This is obviously gonna distract the next soldier right here, but as long as you do this correctly, then he won't see you, and he shouldn't walk this far into the stable. I don't think he's capable of it anyway, because the lantern and the dead cow, I think, is a tight enough space where he can't walk through it. But I could be wrong on that. Like, someone who knows this game even better than I do is more than welcome to correct me on that. But in any case, my point is you're usually safe in that corner of the stable, next to the turret controls. Next thing's next is once he goes back to neutral, we just need to carefully trail behind him so that we can proceed forward. This next part is quite tricky, and the way I do it is probably not the most ideal way, but it works, so I just go with it. There is another med kit over there if you want to get it, but it's probably not worth it because that soldier we just got past, I don't want to deal with him anymore. I just want to move on. So just use this little hidden path to get behind these turrets and then deactivate them both. So I'll be doing this wrong a couple of times just so you have an idea of things that you could do that don't really work for me. If you use diversion camera gas on these guys right now, you will not be able to get through. So that's out of the question.
Identify yourself.
You could try to distract them both over here and then gas them over here. Now this could actually work, but the problem with it is the patrolling soldier that we just got past. I think he's the one who spotted me. Yes, he's the one who spotted me when I tried to do that. So you could actually do that, but you have to make sure that the patrolling soldier is not looking. But I don't recommend it because there's no telling how long it'll take for those 2 soldiers to approach the diversion camera. What you want to do is do a whistle in the stable so that you can cause them to disperse from their set position, and then you want to try to gun it for this next stable, and then immediately get in that dark corner between the barrel and the horse water or the cow water trough or whatever you call it. If you're playing the vanilla game, you're going to have to jump to do the distraction, and it should cause the same thing to happen. But thankfully, Enhanced Splinter Cell, as I've pointed out 100 million times, adds the whistle. So, I guess you could probably tell why I think this is the most frustrating level, because the parts that are hard are just really annoying. Kalinatek is probably harder because there's a lot of precise movements and distractions that are very tricky to pull off, and they're paced out throughout the whole level from start to finish. That tricky wall jump at the end of the level that's the actual hardest part of the game. The freezer diversion camera distraction was actually the second. I almost forgot about the Kalinatek jump at the leap of faith at the end. So eventually I will get this. You do the whistle in the front corner of the stable so that they can disperse and come this way. As long as you do it right, you can get into the next stable and hide. Yes, I did make it. It's possible they could perceive you as you try to run in here because this spot between the water trough and the barrel is the only dark part of this stable. But I've done this a lot, and I've never had them come into the stable deep enough where they could see you hiding in this little dark spot. So you should hopefully be okay. So once we're here, we're waiting for them to go back to their neutral spot where they're just standing in the way, because then we can use our last diversion camera to gas them and run by. The problem with this strategy is that you have to run and roll very, very carefully because there's a turret. This turret is very difficult to get past without getting shot at. But we're just gonna quite literally bite the bullets and let it shoot us. So distract and gas those guys with the diversion camera, and then just run and quickly roll your way to the next area before the turret can kill you. Hide here. Go ahead and take a med kit so that you can save yourself at least a little bit from those turret shots. Go ahead and get your SC-20K out with sticky shockers, because it's a sticky shocker is the next thing we're going to be using, because we have to go through a forced combat scenario at the end of this level. And this is the second annoying, frustrating obstacle of the level. The freezer distraction was the first. This is the second. And you're going to have to do a second backup save in case this gets fucked up really, really, really badly. So go ahead and make that save. And here's what you want to do. As soon as they turn around, we got to make a break for the next stable area where both the soldiers and the staff from the Chinese embassy are being held hostage. Deactivate the turret on the right side because we need to talk to the Chinese ambassador. Now, if you want to do this properly, you can just listen to the dialogue. But it's honestly safer to just use the skip ahead action to just bypass all of this and go straight to the fight. Because you'll see what's going to happen to me is that a major crippling flaw of this fight can happen where those last two soldiers that I hid from before running over here, if they're close by, they'll hear the fighting, they'll come and investigate, and then they'll join the fight, and you will not have enough non-lethal gadgetry to knock them out. Unless you do a really tricky knockout by launching sticky cameras into their face, but that's hard to do. What you want to do is carefully roll over here. One way to tell you've done this wrong is if you get shot at before you reach this position, then you did it wrong, and then the soldiers are going to be sped up, and then you won't be able to stop them before they execute the soldiers. I went the wrong way. In order to stop the last guy, you have to be inhumanely fast, which I wasn't. And then I was having the problem where, like I said, the last two soldiers that we slipped past, they're going to join the fight because the fighting, all the gunfire is distracting them. But let me explain what you're trying to do. You use a sticky shocker on that first guy. You airfoil the second guy that comes straight at you and then punch him. And then you need to punch this guy, but you have to do it from behind. You have to try to get behind him so that one punch knocks him out. And then you need to very, very, very quickly stun that last guy, who is a colonel, I think, that's running towards the soldiers to kill them. You gotta stun him with an airfoil and then run up and punch him before he can do that. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, you might be able to stop this colonel guy before you can knock out that one guy that has the pistol. So the real problem I was having here was those guys coming back to join the fight. So I had to load the backup save and start this all over again. And the conversation with the ambassador, this time I'm going to be skipping through it. That way I can guarantee that I won't have that problem again. So here, this has now been fixed. So those other soldiers are not going to be joining the fight anymore. So skip everything. What you need to do is roll now, and then roll again. As long as you don't get shot at, you've done it correctly, and then the soldier movements should be the way we need them to be. Did I do it right here? No, I did not. I got hit hard. Another problem I'm having is that I got bad at aiming a sticky shocker for some reason. The second guy has to literally come directly into our face, but that's another way you could do it if you want, because you've got a lot of airfoil rounds. But I fucked up and missed the rest of them, and then I shot him dead, which is bad, because we won 100%, so no killing. And in case it wasn't obvious, this scripted combat scenario and these knockouts in general are not going to count against the 100% rating, because this is completely unavoidable. That first guy that we sticky shock, it is mandatory that you actually land that shot, because we need the other sticky shocker for Grinko when he shows up, because of the way that I'm going to take him out. As a fail-safe in the event that those other two soldiers want to come over here and investigate what was happening. So here's the second guy. I hit him with the airfoil, but he was shooting his gun, and then his finger got stuck on the trigger, which let him keep shooting at me, which I hate it when that happens. Anyways, so sticky shock him, get your airfoils out, let the guy coming right towards us come right at us, stun with an airfoil, right there, whack. Very carefully whack him, because he should, if you do this correctly, he should get distracted by his buddy getting knocked out. And then airfoil him and punch him fast as shit before he can throw a grenade at the soldiers. Or just run in there and shoot them. Another airfoil should be shot at him so that you can run up and punch him. And then your sticky shocker is for Grinko. Now, you should have one airfoil left as a result of doing this, but if you looked very carefully, you'll notice that I missed a shot when I was going after that colonel, saving the soldiers. Now, the sticky shocker will knock out Grinko. In the vanilla game, this will actually count as killing Grinko, because the objective is to kill him. And it will actually end the level, and it'll freeze you from being able to move. But in Splinter Cell Enhanced, they changed it. You can't end the level until Grinko is actually truly dead. So here's how I do this. Sticky shock him, drag him over here into a stable, and then drop him and shoot him in the head. So in the event that those annoying ass soldiers want to come over here and investigate at the last minute, you are hidden so that they can't find you. As opposed to the vanilla game where as soon as Grinko falls, you're frozen, you can't move, and if those soldiers come, you're fucked. I'm so happy Enhanced Splinter Cell fixes this. But finally we got through with 100%, and God, it was not easy. I guess Kalinatek is technically harder, but I personally hate this one more. Thankfully it's over. See you next time.